My name is Charlie McGrath. I'm the founder of WideAwakeNews.com and a host on the Rinse Radio Network. Betrayed, stabbed in the back, kicked in the teeth, whatever you want to call it. This is American History X, and we were just curbed. Of course, I'm speaking in reference to last Thursday's announcement by Rand Paul that they were going to support the Romney effort, the GOP choice for President of the United States. We need to understand what this is. We need to understand what has happened over the last 5 years in this country. We've had a series of relief valves. They've come, they've given us hope, and then they've been blown up in our face. We need to understand and recognize this tactic so we do not fall for it again and realize that only real change comes from ourselves. 5 years ago, the Tea Party movement began. It began under George W. Bush. It wasn't a neocon event. It wasn't a Democrat event. It was people that were sick of out-of-control government, sick of this massive military expenditure, sick of illegal wars, sick of the corruption between Wall Street and Washington, D.C. We marched in the streets thinking that that was going to have an effect. We saw people such as Glenn Beck grab onto this movement, make it their very own in order so that they could become fabulously wealthy. We saw Michelle Bachmann grab onto it so she could use that energy and momentum to further her political career. And at the end of the day, it ended up being a far-right wing of the Republican Party. I'm not saying the principles of the people marching ended up there. I'm saying the movement itself. The lexicon of the word or phrase Tea Party is now shifted to the far-right wing of the Red Team. The Occupy Wall Street movement, it was barely a month old before the Blue Team tried to latch on to that and make it their very own. Even though they stepped away from it when they realized that these people had no intention of filing into the Blue camp, the damage was already done. The page was already written. The stage was already set so we could have a 2012 showdown between the Red Team's Tea Party movement and the Blue Team's Occupy movement. Now, everybody else in the middle, everybody else that was sitting back saying, I'm not changing from my principles, I want sound money, I want an audit of the Federal Reserve, I want freedom, I want liberty, and I want to take my country back in the name of the constitutional republic that has been taken from us. These people, these millions of us across this country, just got kicked in the gut when Rand Paul came out and announced that they were going to back Mitt Romney. This is Washington politics. Rand Paul are Washington politicians. They have absolutely no intention of doing anything outside of the status quo of the GOP. If you didn't believe that Wednesday, you should believe that today, Monday. You should believe that because it has happened. If you think for 1 second that any good can come out of backing Mitt Romney, if you think for 1 second that getting a plank in the platform that maybe we'll audit the Federal Reserve, maybe we'll come up with another Dodd-Frank bill, maybe we'll come up with another piece of financial legislation written by Goldman Sachs, and that will somehow return us to a constitutional republic, you are completely and utterly delusional. It isn't going to happen. If Rand Paul was a leader, they would have stood before those cameras and said, America, I do not care. I am not going to join the bandwagon of the Red Team. Follow me. Follow me to the gates of victory or to the gates of hell. Either way, follow me if you want a constitutional republic. That did not happen. The relief valve tactic has worked. Listen, Warren Pollack and I have been working on a lot of projects lately. One of them is Axioms. One of the axioms, which is a self-evident truth, is diametrically opposed politicians seem to find consensus in consistently betraying your best interest. This is exactly what we have seen. If we want change in this country, it has to come from us, you, me, our loved ones, our family, the people that care about freedom and justice and integrity in this country. From us, we must initiate the change because it isn't going to come from some figurehead, some superhero. They do not exist. Anything going forward, anything going from this point forward is going to be our fault if we let this happen. Shame on you, Rand Paul. Shame on you, Ron Paul. Shame on you, Glenn Beck, Sarah Palin, and everybody else who tried to latch on to this momentum over the last 5 years. But from this second forward, if we are duped, shame on us. Axioms is attached. That's all I got.